Hey Keith, it's Shovlin, son of Swift here for you with this week's genealogical pursuits. It is February 4th. Well, technically it's after midnight, February 5th, 2025. And bring you up to date on where I've been doing genealogy research for my family tree with tips and hints to help you out in your own genealogical research, or if your family, showing you more of what we have in our own past. Now, I titled this episode, What Makes the Research Worth It? Now, we're start with what the project I've been working on for the past couple weeks, which is filling in the part of the branch of a tree that is no longer, unfortunately, as full as it used to be. That's the Price family, parents of Mary Margaret Price, and farther back. Continuing to do deep dives on these people. This week I tried working on Mary Eichner, born 1803. And so far, I still have her as born in Württemberg, Germany. Died March 1880 in West Virginia. It's recommending a Johann Eichner as her father, but don't I don't see enough there to be certain. Now, what I did find this week that was promising was I was looking through some of the records that I have, and of course, quite a few for Ohio County, Virginia, or what is now West Virginia. And I found around the same time a woman named Catherine Eichner that had been born in 1776 or so in Württemberg, Germany, who was living in Ohio County, West Virginia. So that's a few years older. Could be an aunt or a sister or a cousin or something. So I've tried tracking her down, and so far unsuccessfully. I definitely have her marriage record. I know that this is a Eichner that lived in the same county of West Virginia, and there was a slightly different spelling, Eickner, in some of the documents that came up. But so far, that's where I stand on that section of a tree. It continues to be a work in progress. I'm so thankful that I didn't lose all this great work on the Prices and the Killians that I had done. But there's even more I could fill out there, but yeah. Now, of course, this is just, as you can see, this is Mary Margaret Price is my let's see, this grandmother, great grandmother. So one of I had eight grandparents, so that's one of 16 great grandparents. So her parents, my three times great, are you know 30, 32, 32 of 32. So there's always, and this is going to be an ongoing thing, trying to figure this out. So it's really easy to get bogged down in some of this stuff. So switching it up, going to another part of a tree is always a good idea. Now I just went a little bit down the line, and that was to the Allens. And I had done some research earlier in the year. I had a major groundbreaking, breakthrough on Elizabeth Drum, and unfortunately, I never wrote it exactly down, so I still don't have that information. And then just now looking, I had new information here for Hannah Kinsey. Uh, Going back, her parents, I had Mary Bradshaw, but now, as you can see, I just James Bradshaw, Ruth Lowther, William Lowther, and Martha Layburn. I just added those a few minutes ago. That's why I didn't start this before midnight, because I was trying to track down everything I want to talk to you guys about, and there ends up being more. That's, to me, what I love. It's the fact that there always ends up being more. You want to focus on the section, it's not going to let you. There's always going to end up being more. Now, my major breakthrough that I had in my research yesterday was I have here one Jane Wilson, and she is the wife of, she is my five times great grandmother, wife of Andrew Harman. And I found through research this week her baptism at Mount Carmel Presbyterian Church in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, just down the river from my hometown of Beaver, Pennsylvania. Then I had the marriage record of her to Andrew Harman. And of course, on that baptism record, it lists her father's name, David. And then I was able to, doing some research in other family history trees on Ancestry, finding David, born 1775, death some around 1850. That's about, and his wife, Elizabeth Maxwell. Now, what's funny is I put Elizabeth and David in without their dates at first. And of course, the hints for ancestry sometimes are not that quick coming, but without the dates, it already was giving me some hints for Elizabeth. And of course, has her here, Elizabeth Wilson, married in West Virginia, or Virginia, as a thing called, but born in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. Stuff that I haven't confirmed yet, but it's another generation back on that tree, so it's always nice to find more family. Now, as I've been doing more research, I was trying to look at another section of a tree there, that being the drums and the Allens. So we have Jacob Simon Drum and his father Philip Drum and mother Margareta Erb. Seemed like a good name to double check, but got 17 hints on Philip Drum. I know the day that he died, and there's information on him, but nothing yet to track down. Apparently, like here it says it's recommending a mother, but that's it for him. So that was just kind of a little bit something. Oh, there one's popping up in other parts of the family. Okay. Now, so what was really interesting this week was I was filling in farther down on the Moors, and I had gotten a hint for the Dorsey clan. Now, the Dorseys are Ruth Dorsey is the wife of Richard Talbot, parents of Richard Talbot, wife of husband of Temperance Wells. Who the Talbots go back Williamson, John Maple Moore, Lavina Moore. So that's how it fills out. Now I had already tracked back the Talbots, and the Talbots go back a long time. And then as you go back on it, you got Calvert. And that's when you're looking at that William Calvert, these are the Lord of Baltimore, founders of the state of Maryland, the colony of Maryland. We had Standish. And these are all names from across early American history that filled out here. Leonard's going back, Bodler, centuries. We're looking at 1400s here for some of these names. Terrell, Darcy, Hastings, DeGray. You just keep going back on some of these, and it's just incredible. This is what happens when you hit a royal bloodline or knights or something like that. They just keep going, and you could very easily get lost. Look, 1076, Roland Lestrange, Guy Lestrange, Carl Lestrange in 1022. You're talking over 1,000 years of human history on your family tree. And you have to be lucky to catch some of these because most families aren't going to track this stuff down. But if you're related to knights, if you're related to royalty, that's really like mother's milk. That's the stuff that you really hope to find because you're able to track down so much once you go back. Now, and that meant now I had already looked all this information I've known for several years now, but the Dorseys came up with a new hint today. So that filled out a little bit. Not too much more there from what I had, but a bit more. Pleasance Eli, I was hoping for more, but no, nothing yet. But then I had Richard Hill. All of this information here in the Hills and Marshall, Jane Rodney, these are all new that I just found this week. Barbara Brett and Margaret Millay, Margaret Fauntleroy, Richard Rodney, John de Rodney, and as you can see here, Knight. So that's how I'm able to have this information because there are people in my family tree who were knighted. That information was saved as part of official records. So we have John de Rodney, born 1461 in Somerset, England, and died in 1527. Nice long life for that time. And you look, we have a marriage record, have the birth records, and things that people have found on trees. And amazingly, no additional hints. But I'm thinking the problem with that is because their thinking is last. Oh, it's listed. I'm sorry, the suffix. Yeah, always make sure. I see this a lot lately. People putting titles in the name fields, and it's one deficiency of Ancestry that they don't have a field for a title like Reverend, Captain, military titles, office holders, things like that. But they do have suffixes, and I see a lot of records where it's people have a dead end at the Reverend John, and that's because they don't realize that they're putting the Reverend in the family tree like that. On under that's the software is going to think the person's first name is and then you're not going to find anything. And even if you drop it to Reverend, still that's not the person's first name. So if anybody from Ancestry watches this, that's a major deficiency in your software that needs to be fixed. I mean, fix the find a graves thing that I brought up a few weeks ago continues to be a problem, but also fix this to add a field for titles so that you could put knight or sir or any office holder's positions names in there. But yeah, this is what you do this for. You hope to be able to catch on to one of these lines. And it just, I mean, makes you feel like you're part of something bigger. Of course, yes, you're a human being. You're on this planet. You're in a civilization. You're in a culture, in a city, in a town, in a community. And hopefully you're valued at work. Hopefully you're valued in your family. Hopefully you're valued in your community. But this just goes to show more that these people who were valued pretty highly to be knighted, 15 great grandfather, that that person existed of consequence, and I am a descendant of that. Kind of connects you to that. Of course, knowing that knighthoods are not handed down from generation to generation, but still, it's nice to know descended from knights and royalty. That's what we do this for. You want to find yourself connected to somebody. It doesn't have to be someone famous, someone well known. I mean, everyone's going to probably find themselves connected to Charlemagne at some point. Some of the trees I've pulled information from suggest a family connection to Cleopatra. Don't know about that, but it's an interesting find. But this is what we do this for. And I will continue to do this for some time, especially now wanting to figure out who this person was, Mary Eichner. And knowing that as part of finding out who Mary Eichner is finding out in a way who I am, who my family is, my parents, my daughters. They're all part of us. All right, enough with the sappy sentimental stuff. Now let's check the emails this week. See what anything worthwhile that's showing up. This page isn't working. I'll fix it. Okay, starting now up to our weekly check on surname searches. Angevine, once again. Termloin Oil Corp. Director Joe Turley Angevine acquired 1,000 shares of the business stock in the transaction. The historic Angevine cabin in Indiana. How to get ready every day with Christy Angevine, ND, former OBGYN turned coach. And more about Christy Angevine on Instagram there. Obituary for William J. Angevine. Angevine is Herman Miller Angevine, published in Arlington, Virginia, 1992. Research in the District of Columbia, interesting. Scott Angevine on Tribuna. Okay. Leslie Angevine on Instagram. Archive search result for Merrill Angevine, teacher, athletic coach, principal with the local Lafayette School District from 1929 to 1934. Nicole Angevine Real Estate. Instagram, Craig Derrick Angevine. Isabella Angevine. Angevine Road in Lilburn, Georgia. Angevine Promotions, The Unexposed Secret of Auto Transport. See Jeff Angevine on Threads. Aaron Angevine on TikTok. More Aaron Angevine, and Aaron Angevine. So that's it for that section. Now to my family, the Shovlins. Oh, wow. So I live in Washington, D.C., and this past week we had an unfortunate tragedy with a passenger plane colliding with a military helicopter outside Reagan National Airport, which is right on the Potomac River. And the plane and the helicopter crashed in the water. I ride the train in every day to DC to work, and it's just south enough from the train, from the bridge, that I couldn't see anything. But knowing that a lot of first responders were there in the water that Wednesday night when it was very cold out, not as cold as it's been, but still pretty cold, trying to save people's lives. Unfortunately, it's not to be. But here it seems I have a cousin that is part of the dive crew. So I wish him luck. Let's see, John F. Shovlin. There's another John F. Shovlin out there, or at least there was. And this one passed away, unfortunately. Chatham, New Jersey. Earl S. Cottrell, seen as by father Harry Cottrell, his mother Mary Joseph Shovlin, stepfather Joseph Shovlin. Andrew Shovlin, Mercedes Trackside Engineering Director. This is Wilkes-Barre Citizens Voice obituary for Barbara Sperco. Liz Shovlin on YouTube. Rivals, Stanford as 3-star defensive end Adam Shovlin. Instagram first Shovlin mattresses talking about Devils versus Blackhawk games. Devils Penguins tonight, but I was watching the Penguins feed. I probably would have seen Shovlin mattress ads if I was watching the Devils feed. Mandy Shovlin Wheel on YouTube. Siobhan Shovlin on Facebook. Obituary for Mary Shovlin from 2015. On Wednesday, February 5th, Frank Shovlin would deliver a lecture titled Rumors, Secrets, and Lies, Some Problems with Writing them Again, something at Boston College. Irish Studies at Boston College. So that's something to check out tomorrow if you're in the Boston area. More from Andy Shovlin, Deborah Shovlin, Real Estate in Youngstown. Shovlin, Facebook. Kathy Jo Shovlin, Marriage and Family Therapist in Nevada. Excuse me. Stephen Shovlin on Threads. Thomas Shovlin on YouTube. The Shovlin Academy of Irish Dance on Instagram. And finally, Margaret Shovlin on TikTok. All right. Well, I'm not going to bore you with too much by doing ads or anything this week. And if you want to support the channel, please feel free to click below in the thing. But we're at just over 22 minutes. I could wax on for another 10 or 15, but I feel this is a good length and it's late and I should get some sleep. So thank you all for watching. As always, if you want to check in with me, I have several ways to get involved. Of course, you can always email me, shovlin@gmail.com. You can contact me through the channel in the comments below. Find me on Tumblr, sonofswift.tumblr.com. And of course, if you want to support, tpublic.com/stores/swift. You can also set up your own merch store. Try the Circle Mule. I did have a new blog post up this week. And that was this one here, Finding Frances Collins, where I broke down how I figured out where she fit in the tree, what I discussed quite a bit last week. But this one here, you can actually see some of the accompanying documents. So we have here first the 1850 census, the 1840 census with its extreme lack of information, up to the 1860, 1870, 1880. As you can see, getting more complicated as it goes up. Then we have the death certificate for Francis's daughter Elizabeth from the state of Kentucky. And then cutting back, then found Levi Collins and Francis Gibson in 1830. And that's where we are. I'm searching for Gibsons in the 1820 census. Hopefully, that might come to something. But, that's just recapping some of what I talked about last week. And, of course, remember to check us out on Blue Sky, where we continue to build that, sharing the information that I have on the blog, and, of course, sharing each week's episodes. All right. Please like and share if you connect with family, you want to supporting, liking and sharing will help. Subscribe to the AS21 channel. Check out our great programming, not just this weekly live stream, but also my Saturday shorts with my dog Sherlock. He's resting. And I had a nice short up last night from downtown DC at the Eisenhower Memorial. I'm hoping to have it back up this week, having Friday night, having the book reviews. And of course, you can catch me on the Trekker's Delight channel on Thursday nights. Thank you all for watching, and good luck with your own research, and see you in the family. Good night.